Feeling some overwhelm in your life is common. The thing is, we don't want it to be the norm. So when we start to feel overwhelmed, we want to have a plan to get back on track and decrease our stress. So as we welcome March this week, I want us to have a plan and make one together so we feel like we have healthy habits and a routine to help us stay on track, to help us stay focused, to help us show up how we want to, get the things done that we say are important, and continue to also live a full life as opposed to constantly being focused on a to-do list. So today I want us to talk about breaking up with overwhelm and provide you with some tangible takeaways that you can apply right away to help make this happen. So let's dive in. Are you too busy to prep healthy meals? Do you feel self-conscious about your body and your clothes not fitting right, but you don't have time to work out? Does your life feel unorganized and messy? Do you wish you had routines and habits that made health simple, even with your busy schedule? I know, I've been there. Hi, I'm Shannon Marquita, and no one ever really taught me how to eat healthy. I didn't know anything about nutrition, so I found myself eating whatever was easy, which definitely impacted my energy, weight, and focus. That's why I created this podcast, to show you that through healthy habits and time management, you can know you're doing health right. So stop scrolling social, clicking the ads, and buying all the things. Let's grab our Americano and pop in our AirPods. It's time to solve the real problem together. Welcome home. A fresh start awaits. I would start by asking if you've ever felt overwhelmed, but I honestly have never met somebody where their answer is no. Because overwhelm is a very funny thing. It can come probably the most often from people feeling like they have too much on their plate to handle or balance. But I've also met people where they feel overwhelmed because they feel like they're not doing enough. So the tricky thing is there are two sides to this, and whichever side you're on, today I want us to talk about breaking up with overwhelm and how to be intentional every day to feel lighter, more accomplished, and lower our stress. So first, I want us to start with, which side are you on? Do you feel like you have too much you're trying to do and you aren't doing well balancing that and being productive? Or do you feel like you're not doing enough? Whichever your answer is, then I want us to take the next step and be intentional about what is on our list. A lot of times people feel overwhelmed because they don't actually fully realize what they have for themselves to do. So if you feel like you're not doing enough, it might be because you're very productive and you are very efficient, or it might be because you're very good at delegating, or you just might not be doing a lot and you have a lot of free time. So we want to improve how you use your time so that it is feeding into your purpose and feeling like you are productive and contributing. If you have too much on your list, we want to know, what are those things? Are there really as many things on your list as you think? Or have you not written them down anywhere? Are they just bouncing around constantly in your head so it feels like a longer list because we're not really sure what they are and we're afraid we're going to forget something, and so we are constantly thinking about everything that needs to get done? But when you write it down right there, that helps us release some stress because we can see in front of us what we need to accomplish, and it helps us realize nothing's going to be forgotten. And sometimes we also realize it's not 100 things. It might be 5 or 6, could even be 10. Either way, it's not 100. So that helps lower our overwhelm instantly too. So the first thing that I want to encourage you to do is write your things down. What do you feel you need to get done? What is causing you stress? And even if all the pieces aren't making you feel overwhelmed, write everything down. First and foremost, that gets it out of your head. So it's causing you less stress in your thoughts and subconscious. It's also ensuring you're not going to forget anything. And it also helps you to clearly identify what needs to get done. Some things might be able to be paired together, so that increases efficiency. Some things might be able to be delegated, and you realize this isn't really my task. I can have my kid do it. I can ask my spouse for help. This is something at work that I can delegate because it's a lot better for this person to be doing than me, etc. However it goes for you, seeing the items in front of you is a huge, huge help. Another thing that helps lower overwhelm and helps you to feel more accomplished is having a plan. So what that means is once you've written your list down and identified what you need to be doing, then looking at your schedule. Where do these things fit in? What can I get done right now? What can wait until later? How is the best way for me to be using my time? The next piece in this particular part is to write down what is our main focus for today. So now that we have our list out of our head and living on a physical piece of paper or a note in our phone, we can look at that and first of all realize, as determined as we may be, we cannot accomplish this whole list in one day. That is just not how it works. Things come up that are unexpected, things take longer than we anticipated. So from this list, what is our main focus today? Determine them, write them down, decide a plan for those particular items, when you're going to do them, etc. And the rest can be if you find you have extra time. Otherwise, they'll move to tomorrow. Not a big deal. Remember that this is to decrease overwhelm and to prioritize the things that need to get done. So we are setting intentional focus with our to-do list and our energy. So that's step one, is to get things out of our head, write them down, decide what our top focus is and what only we can do. And then from there, we are going to go ahead and also acknowledge that not all overwhelm and stress comes from our to-do list. So it could be other pieces in our life. It could be emotional. It could be subconscious, and we're not even sure exactly what's causing it. But another big tool that is extremely helpful and valuable to help release overwhelm and just lower our stress overall is movement. And so what I want you to do in these times of feeling stressed and overwhelmed, whether now or in the future, is to remember that moving your body is very powerful. It helps blood flow, it helps stress relief, it helps all the things. So whether it is a walk outside where you can get some fresh air and sunlight, whether it is some light stretching or some brief sets of maybe some squats or lunges, whatever works for you, movement is a powerful tool that I want you to always keep on hand. And as a reminder that when you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed, to pause and let some of that out through movement and exercise. It doesn't have to be a 30 to 45 minute plus routine. It's just something to get our blood flowing, to release tension through stretching and just letting our oxygen in our body be circulating, and to move our thoughts and mind from the tasks right in front of us that are causing us stress or the emotions or whatever it is, to something that is freeing and releasing and allowing us to have a reset, to regain control of our thoughts and emotions so that we can re-enter whatever situation we were in with clarity and calmness. In addition to the first two tools, I also want to encourage you, when you are feeling stressed and overwhelmed, to take an audit of your screen time. So this includes phone, tablet, TV, video games, whatever your things are. The more screen time we have, we don't always realize it, but it actually triggers exhaustion without us doing anything physically, which is not a great feeling. It can also cause us stress and overwhelm because we're using our energy and time for something that isn't necessarily productive from our to-do list. Now, if this is part of your reset time at the end of the day or in your breaks throughout the day that you intentionally chose for unwinding, then that is completely different than what we're talking about here. But when you are feeling stressed and overwhelmed, screen time actually makes it even heightened than it already is. So that is where I want you to be aware of how you're using your time, because when we are feeling stressed and overwhelmed, screen time is a very easy outlet for us to try and escape from what might be going on in our world and to try and disconnect. But really, it is a defense mechanism, and it actually makes things worse because we are trying to hide and we are trying to avoid what needs to be addressed and done. So when you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed, I want you to be very intentional with how you're choosing your time. So that is where movement and unplug and having those tools that are healthy and refreshing and decrease stress and allow you to have a healthy reset rather than triggering things that could actually make it worse. So these are just 3 easy ways that you can become more aware of times when you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed and work to regain control and reset so that you can decrease your stress and your feeling of overwhelm and get done what you need to in order to get back on track and just feel like your best self as you're showing up in every area of your life. Because stress and overwhelm are very real emotions, and they affect how we show up for others, how we show up for ourselves, the choices that we make. And the reality is we are not perfect, but we want to intentionally be aware of how we're feeling, what we're experiencing, and the choices that we're making so that we are choosing a healthy, fulfilling life and to be the best that we can for ourselves, for others, and for our loved ones. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you're having a good week, and I will talk to you soon. If this podcast helped, challenged, or inspired you in some way, I would love it if you'd do me a huge favor and leave me a review over on Apple Podcasts. It helps me to hear from you and know how this is best serving you. And go ahead and screenshot this and share it in your stories. Tag me at Shannon Marquita. That's ShannonMarqueta. And send it over to a friend in a text who is ready for healthy changes in her life too. Let her know that this episode might serve her as well. I am just so grateful for you and would love to hear from you. Come hang out and let's connect over in my Facebook group, bit.ly.com/afreshstart, or send me a message. I look forward to seeing you back here in a few days.